Nick, good afternoon, Mr. Carroll.
Good afternoon, your worship and councillors. I'm just going to say a couple of words and then James can come up and present the item. I just wanted to really clarify that the item we'll be talking about today is very much a procedural one. We've had some legislative change recently, went through the beginning of August. That's necessitated us making some tweaks to our existing DC policy. We've got a very short time frame to actually make those tweaks, given the requirements in the new legislation. What I really want to emphasise is that we're doing a full comprehensive review of the development contributions policy right at the moment. We're anticipating having a workshop with you on that towards I think it's about the third week in October. So there'll be an opportunity to sink your teeth into the policy's detail at that stage. And then, obviously, flowing on from that, we'll go out and we'll do a thorough consultation with the community as part of that long-term planning process. So today, very much procedural, about meeting those legislative changes, and then that comprehensive review underway, and in October, opportunity to chat.
So that's when the developers and all the people that are actually affected by this policy come and present their case. Just to get us speaking. Thank you. Councillor Tharp?
Sorry, I just got a bit confused with the resolution that said adopts the, or we need to, I think, insert the word draft perhaps, because
So there's two aspects that, sorry Nick. Basically, another aspect of the new Amendment Act that brought in some changes which we went through with the workshops was actually we don't have to go out and consult now on certain items, and DC's was one of these. So from a procedural factor, because we had to do these changes, what we've done is basically just amended our current DC policy because of the time frame. We only had a month to actually get these all done, so there was no way that we could actually make these changes in a meaningful manner if we were doing a full review. So that's why we went with just let's get these amendments in that were legislated, and we'll use the new amendment requirements from the new amendment to the Local Government Act that says we don't need to consult. So we've used both aspects of those, and we're just putting this through, and then we will consult just the same as any other with the actual full review that we're doing.
So this is the legislation that's driven this. It's completely legislated, and so incorporate that into the new policy which will take us through for the year, isn't it? What was part of the LTP anyway. So
yeah, so it'll be finalised as part of the LTP, the full review, not this amendment, the full review. And it's being completely rewritten as well, I might add, so it should be more simpler for you to actually understand the DC policy as well.
I just want to ask the question. We've got a lot of red lines. You've got red lines that are crossed out.
Right,
what
we'll
that?
jump into that now. I'll get that one up here just in case. Right. So all the red bits are the bits that have changed. So the crossed out bits are pretty much the bits that have gone, and the red bits that are basically new are the new bits. So it's extremely simple. One of the really annoying things that they actually did was instead of using the word review, they changed that to exactly. So there were a few crossed out and added a new word in. So yeah, but that's basically the changes. The really interesting change is probably the introduction of the objection process. And as part of that, they have also got some commissioners, and there's a list of those actually now available on the DIA website. Yes, so pretty much these are truly legislated requirements that were, as we are all well aware, that got rushed through before Parliament adjourned.
So from a statutory point of view, we have to adopt.
Yes.
So this is just straight legislation.
Yeah, within a month of royal assent. So that was why this was even down on the agenda, waiting for the Act to be finalised.
Cool. Cool. So has anyone got any queries on the red lines? Not that we can change or do anything with them because they're legislated.
Just a question, Your Worship. Pages, well, I'm just looking at page 53. I assume that's to do with the growth projection, where some of those items have been, some of it's due to the legislation, obviously, and probably also our annual plan, where we've got all those red lines crossed out, and then perhaps, well, there was one there, infrastructure, Taupo South, local park, it's got 92 down to 55. What?
So one of the major changes of the DC policy was they removed certain items that you could collect DCs. Yep. Yeah. So basically the cross lines and the dollars is just a reflection of we're not allowed to collect that anymore. But we're actually relatively in a good place because we never really collected for some of the big items that other councils are going to be in difficulty, like for libraries and things like that. We've never done that. So.
Okay, Councillor Bernard.
Just a couple of questions. On 1014, there's no mention of Mangakino. Is there supposed to be Mangakino included in our DC policy?
10.2.14 or what page?
10.14.
Clause? Is that clause?
On the bottom. We mentioned Taupo, Turangi, Kuratau, Acacia Bay, Kinloch, but no Mangakino.
Sorry, what page is that on?
10 bar 14.
I can answer that, Councillor. The issue is that that is about reserve land contributions, and we're not in a place of buying land in Mangakino for reserves. We're over and down with reserve land. So that's an indication of how much we incur each year of reserve land, but we don't buy Mangakino.
Or Turangi.
Secondly, just on that graph of 10 bar 47, I have to confess my eyes just could not read any of the black type on the blue. So I have no idea what you're talking about there.
47.
I'm sorry, I haven't got the agenda in front of me. I've only got the actual DC policy. So. Right, there we go. Right, thank you.
And just lastly, a query on 10 bar 65. We mentioned TKNP, but do we still have TKNP? Do we delete it?
We still have the wall.
Again, these are all going to be fixed up with the full review. It just wasn't necessary to change the standing DC policy as it is.
Chairman, on 10 bar 64, now this is the term glossaries, what do they call it? Glossary of terms. This is part of an Act of Parliament, these glossary of terms, would that be correct? Part of the Act?
Not necessarily all of them. And again, with the full review, if it's actually determined somewhere else, we're not going to be re-adding it to the policy.
I'm interested in what they define as a residential unit on 1064.
So this is yours for the policy. So again, the bits that aren't highlighted, so there's no red on that, that's not coming from central government or is from this recent change. This is from your existing
policy,
which you can't renew at the moment. You will be as part of your long-term plan. All this amendment is doing, harking back to it, is putting in the very small changes that central government have legislated that you've got no choice about. You have to do it. The whole policy and these questions that you're all asking will come up
as part of the policy review.
Just to raise the question in regards to the definition of a residence, when it states it's a detached building with a bathroom and kitchen, the bathroom will include a toilet, bathing facilities, the kitchen will have a sink. If a residential extension includes all these facilities but is attached to the house, it must be able to be accessed from inside the house, garage not included, for it not to be considered a second or subsequent dwelling.
I'll keep a note of that for the full review, but
I'm wondering where that fits in with our rating at the moment of buildings such as that.
That was determined in a previous development of the DC policy. So
2000 and
The last one was done at the last LTP, so 2012.
Councillor Truman.
Yes, so it's just a couple of things that probably come up because in the glossaries as well it says long-term council community plan. I didn't know whether that needs to be changed to 10 years.
My definitions have reduced subsequently out of sight. There is a lot of glossary of terms which I find were actually defined in the legislation or defined elsewhere. So there's a significant reduction in the glossary of terms in the new policy that you'll see eventually with the workshops.
Cool. And just another, in 10-53 and like on subsequent pages, kurito spelt wrong throughout. It says kurito instead of kurito.
Naughty.
Schedule.
Right.
I would say that, yep, the
Cool.
kurito is spelled wrong. You can't change it without going through a special procedure, which you wouldn't want to do. This close thing and do it as part of your 10-year plan. So noted, and we'll make sure it's
Yes. Yep.
Okay, Councillor Park. Sorry, Councillor Krasowski.
I was just going to say happy to move.
Happy to move. Thank you, Councillor Krasowski. Thank you. I think seconded by Councillor Park. Just in time. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, sir.
Oh, yes.
All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, carried. Item number 11, electoral system for elections.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor.
What was it, Zane? What was it?
280
Local.
Jakes?
So, if council wishes to change its electoral system for voting from the current first past the post, it needs to do so by the 12th of September. So hence the item to council for you to make that decision, and also at the same time whether you wanted to consider going out to the community for a poll. Happy to answer
thank
any
you, Mr.
questions.
Jakes. Any questions or queries on?
How much would it cost to go out and consultants on this?
I've got it there, it's about $60,000, 11-3 to do a poll.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should. Only money.
Somebody's offered to do that.
The community at any time with 5% of voters request a poll, and we would have to do it.
Okay, does anyone want to change?
Just a quick point of clarification. Is it a legislative requirement that you have it reviewed every 6 years, not every 3 years?
For this particular one, which is around how you vote, whatever the council resolution is, continues until it's changed. However, you might be talking about the representation review, which is every 6 years. But this one is really, unless council decides to change it, it can remain the same. So basically, if the report didn't come up to you, then it would remain as first past the post. But this is just the opportunity for you to review it.
So through the chair and to Tina, this is just really a checks and balance for us to come up to have this discussion every 2 trienniums, so it is every 6 years.
For Harvey?
Is this the same question or the same time to just revisit what happened when sadly Keith passed away and we had to have a by-election?
No,
it's not the same thing.
Now this is, you know how you vote for the hospital board, or what are they called? DHB, and you got to go 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
How many people? I say the better the word, stuff that up. Most people do.
I think
I would suggest, I forget what, I checked actually the irregular ones that came in, it was a huge amount. So if you get a council, you go 1, 2, your preferred selection, so people just get completely bamboozled over it, and I think the system we have now is certainly the best that I can see, but
And through the chair, my understanding is first past the post is generally the preferred method for local council.
Certainly is. DHB's legislated to do the other system.
I don't think there's any council that has the STD.
There might be about.
You could ask.
No, that's all.
You could ask Kate Prendergast about STV.
Who with the Massey? Okay, sorry. We digress a little bit.
Yeah, this obviously that contradicts the advantages given option one. It causes less confusion, it causes more confusion, doesn't it?
All right, suggested resolution there. Is anyone keen to move? Thank you, Councillor Jollins. Seconded by Councillor Cousins. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against?
Just before Kenny rushes off, Kenny, what was the end result, just in regards to the conversation after the election last year about what was going to happen to absentee ratepayers and their voting papers? What was the end resolution there? You didn't post them all out, if I remember rightly. You only posted out some because of the expense, but.
No, well, you've got to actually register as an out-of-town ratepayer to be able to receive.
But how do we educate the ratepayers to that fact? If we've got a large percentage of our population is absentee, now that they are ratepayers with the right to vote, they should be given the opportunity.
Yep. So there is I suppose, a process that does happen. And last time there was a little notice that went into all the rates newsletters. Reminding non-resident ratepayers that they needed to enrol, and existing people on the roll are sent letters each election to see whether they're still a out-of-town ratepayer that might have changed addresses, something along those lines. We did do some media press releases. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we all said item number 12. Thanks, Tina.